thing which comes to mind just before we left Benghazi in 1967 was the Arab-Israeli War, when Nasser wrongly accused the Americans of assisting the Israelis in their fight against his air force. And he broadcast this in the Middle East, and as a result, many Arab countries rioted and began burning the embassies of both the British and the Americans. This happened in Benghazi. Riots were widespread. Initially, the colonel commanding, Colonel Martin, deployed some soldiers from the Armoured Car Regiment, Inniskilling Dragoon Guards, which was not successful, and some guardsmen were very serious. There were deaths and there were some severe casualties, some of whom managed to get through the rioters to the British Embassy, which was under attack. We had one platoon of infantry, which happened to be from the 4th Battalion, 4 Royal Anglian, which had been deployed in Malta. They loaned us one platoon for Cyrenaica headquarters as a defence platoon. And as the platoon commander was sick that day, Colonel Martin asked me to go down with the platoon to protect the embassy from the rioters, which I did. It was only when we were nearly arrived at our objective that the platoon sergeant told me that the platoon had no ammunition. I had assumed that he was up and ready to go. So that was a bit of a problem. However, we arrived at the embassy, and having debussed from the trucks, I decided that we would make an impression on the rioters and ordered everyone to fix bayonets. That gave them the right impression that we meant business. They retreated, and we were able to cross over the square to the American embassy and save the American diplomats, one whose name was John Corman, who was the head of Chancery, and we managed to save them and take them all back to our barracks in north of the city. We then all had to look after about 1,000 women and children with civilians in and around Benghazi whilst the rioting went on, many of whom were part of the oil business, which was then very successful in Libya. And all the families looked after these guests very well indeed, including my wife. Then in the autumn of 1967, we were all evacuated. We came back to England, and I went to the Joint Services Staff College as a student before returning to the regiment, which by that time, 1 Royal Anglian was situated in Yorkshire at Catterick Camp.